So she put me in the insane asylum. I was there for about a week, and they didn't do anything. They just assigned me a bunch of medicines and stuff that I ended up selling. Um, so after that, the same day I went in, my mother got sick. So couldn't come visit me or anything. Around that same time, we lost everything: our house, our car, the way we were living, everything. We lost everything, and we were living like, rock stars. We were living like we didn't have a care in the world. And then we woke up in reality. So and it hit us hard. So after that, we ended up in shelters, in and out of them. I had to keep everybody's spirits up with talent shows and, football contests and, crazy stuff, puppet shows and everything. Um, got a house. We ended up, kind of drifting apart from each other because there was so much space. No one had to see each other. So, but and that broke my heart because I worked so hard to keep us together in the shelters. And I just lost all that. So around that time, I met this guy. We were dating on and off for about 2 years. Then he moved to North Carolina and kind of just dropped me. After I built up his confidence, he was like maybe 4'5", and he had Crohn's disease and diabetes. But I loved him. I loved him with all my heart. I loved, everything about him. There was no doubt, no question. And when he cut me off, it broke me in ways I can't even explain. And I was young, but since I was a baby, I knew what love was. Since I was a baby, and that's all I wanted. And he broke me. So after that, I used to read my poetry to the kids at the park, and they would love it. I would just be sitting down reading to myself, and I look up, and I have a audience. So this one guy, every time I was there, he would come and take my notebook and start reading it, and just getting lost in my poetry, and it would really touch me. So we started talking, and he had a hard life. He was a foster child, been abused, stabbed, molested, everything you could think of. He had a baby brother, they were always fighting, like physically damaging each other. He was always running away to his mother's home when she was the one abusing him and stuff. It was crazy. I fell in love with him. We were together for 6 months and a day, exactly. I remember the day we broke up. It was September 15th, 2 years ago. And we were together, but we kind of shared a kind of darkness. My sister said we reminded her of Twilight because we were just like vampires. We would sit in the dark and read poetry and talk about Shakespeare and read the thesaurus, but we just fit. We were just perfect for each other, and I loved him. And as the relationship progressed, he would start getting rough with me. He would even start hitting me, saying certain stuff to me, and it became an abusive relationship, but I was just so gone at that point. I didn't care. I was like, I finally got it. I finally found him. But I didn't, and he was poison. He really was. The day after our 6th month, I made him a dinner, something simple. But it was, something big for my age, and I did what I could do. I didn't have no money. But I made him a dinner, and he didn't show up. But every day before that, he would come at 12 o'clock after his counseling. He would come, and he would stay till it got dark. Sometimes he would stay so long, my mom had to walk him home. But when school started up, he stopped coming. So I knew he was cheating. And then these girls came knocking on my door a couple of days before our 6th month. They came knocking on my door. This big girl, maybe 250. The other girl was maybe, I don't know, maybe 200 pounds. And they were sisters, and they came knocking on my door and banging on my door, cussing, saying he's cheating on me, he doesn't want me, all this crazy stuff. And I knew he was cheating on me, but I didn't care. I was like, it's okay. I said, we've been together so long, it's worth forgiving. What we got is, something special. It's worth forgiving. So, I, uh, I told him to get off my property. I said, I have little brothers and sisters. Please don't use profanity in front of my house. I was really civil about it. Um, he didn't show up to our 6 month. The day after that, he showed up, but he had an attitude because I told him, I said, I know you're cheating on me. I said, but it's okay. I forgive you. So everything we've been through isn't worth throwing away over some little hose you got on the side. He was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not cheating on you. You're the only one I love. All this, BS. So I was like, okay, whatever. But I know you're cheating on me. And I remember because I was eating nachos, and I threw them so hard at him, and it left a stain on the wall. But I was eating them, and I threw them at him, and I was just mad, and I had to go get some batteries for my camera because I was taking pictures. I was into photography. So I went to get the batteries, and I was like, you're not going to come with me? Fine, that's whatever. I don't care. Knowing that these girls are after me now. These big girls, and I was only about 115 pounds at that time. So I went to the store, which was a distance, and then on my way back, they caught me, and I was walking, and these kids start coming up to me, yo, they're going to whoop your butt, they're going to whoop your butt, so they're cussing, they're going to kill you, you better run. I had just had my hair curled up real pretty, had a fresh perm, nice outfit, dressed real beautiful, because the day before was, our 6 month, so I looked lovely, and they all came up to me screaming, so I gently took off my jacket, folded it up, set it on the ground, and I've never been a fighter, but when it come down to it, I do what I gotta do. But I was sick. I was really sick. I had the club foot, and then I found out I had scoliosis and had real bad asthma and all these problems, and these girls wanted to bother me, and I didn't do nothing to nobody. So I just set my jacket down, and I'm just looking at them running up on me. I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. I gotta defend myself. I gotta fight for, nothing. So they came up to me, the biggest girl, she was like 250. She came up to me, she was like, yo, you ready for this? You ready to get your A word beat? You ready to get your A word beat? And I'm like, I guess so. I'm ready. You still talking? You gonna hit me? Because I don't hit first. I don't believe in it. So she talking and talking and talking and talking. I'm just like, okay, that's fine, cool, okay, whatever. And I don't remember how it started. I do remember how it started. She was a big girl, and she had really, really big boobs, And I was, little. I had little like C's or whatever. And when she got up on me, her boobs touched my chin. I'm real about personal space. Like, get real. Like, don't come in my bubble. So she, got up on me, and I punched her in the face. But it's like, she came back so fast. I know I sound crazy, but she came back so fast. She was so big. I'm thinking like, it's gonna take this girl a while, But she came back so fast, and her fists were like packs of hamburger meat. Like, no joke, like, no lie. Her fists were so heavy. And I just remember she hit me, and I was fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting. Then her sister ran up in there, and she was fighting. I was fighting both of them. I ended up on the ground somehow. And I remember I kicked her in her stomach as hard as I could. And my leg just, like, bounced back. And I'm like, what in the world? Like, how am I going to get out of this? Like, come on now. I'm like, and I'm just calling for him. Josiah, where are you? Come on, Josiah. Come on, I need you. Please, come here. I'm sorry. And, just screaming, and I'm crying. I'm, Josiah, help me, please, come here, come. I'm crying and stuff, and he didn't show up, and I was just waiting. I was waiting for him to show up, and he didn't. And I love that dude. I loved him. I love him till this day, But I was screaming, and then I just remember it went black, and a few minutes later, I got up. These girls was getting me up. These girls that was egging on the fight, they were like, it's enough, that's enough. And they got me up, and I had a big knot on my head, and I had a concussion. And I was kind of wobbling off, and I remember they were like, where do you live? Where do you live? I was like, I don't know. I don't know. I was like, I don't know. I was just going to get some batteries, but the store didn't have batteries. I was just going to get the batteries. I was like, I don't know. Where's Josiah? Where's Josiah? And they're looking at me like I'm crazy. And then, so I start walking, trying to find my way home. Barely could see, dizzy, about to pass out. I'm walking, and then my mom's car pulls up. And she jumps out. My dad jumps out. And they're all looking for me. My sister's looking for me, and they're all going crazy. And I had a horrible headache. And all the time I'm just screaming, Josiah, Josiah, where's Josiah? I gotta talk to him. I gotta say I'm sorry. Where's Josiah? And come to find out, he was walking with the girls that just jumped me. He was walking with them, and he was nowhere to be found after that. Yet and still that night, I went to his house after I had the concussion and stuff. I went to his house, I snuck out, and I still gave him his present. I was broke, I didn't have money, and I was young, so I gave him a book of 101 Reasons Why I Loved Him. And they weren't like your eyes, your lips, dumb stuff. They were deep reasons, and I've always had an old soul, so they were deep. It was deep. And each page was a full page writing. And then it had a nice drawn picture, and I can draw. It had a nice drawn picture, lovely illustration. And I'm not bragging or anything, but, I know what I can do. And it took me time to make that thing. And I gave it to him. And he just laughed. He laughed like it was the funniest thing he ever saw. And, I never talked to him again. And it broke me. I would just pray, God, just bring him back. Just bring him back, Let him hit me up on Facebook, Let him just, out of the random, hit me up one day. Come see me, call me, text me, apologize. Just give me some closure. Tell me why he did this. What reason did he have to do this to me? So up till, a couple of weeks ago, I was still having nightmares about it. And it's been 2 years now. I still have the nightmares where I'm laying on the ground and I'm screaming and I'm kicking and I'm screaming. And he walks right past me. He just walks right, he looks down, then walks right past me like I'm nothing. And I had the nightmare for a long, long, long time. So, all the while my mom is sick and, my dad is tripping and, everything's going downhill. The money, my clothes, my self-esteem, my respect for myself, everything is just out the window. At that point I'm hating God. I don't want nothing to do with God. Where is God with all this going on? So, but I had always been raised in a Christian household. So I'm like, where is he? Like, he obviously don't care about what happens to me. So, by that time I was in high school, and I would sit at lunch, and we would have rap battles, and I would get live and stuff, because I rap, and it was fun, and I would, school the boys and stuff, but then there was this girl, she would always preach to me, Jesus this, Jesus that, and I'd be looking at her like, and I would always cuss her out, like, every day on the clock, I cussed her out, like, I hated this girl, I hated her guts. I'm like, don't come preaching to me about Jesus, you don't know what I'm going through right now, don't bring that up to me. She would always come to me, always with her Bible, always with the scripture, preaching, God loves you, Jesus, you are beautiful in Jesus' name, and all this stuff. And I'm just looking at her like, look, ho, go away. I don't need you in my life right now. And then one day, my mom, the hospital, they said she treated her good. She don't got much time left. I came to her basically crawling, Shanice, I need a prayer. I need you. Like, what we're gonna do. And, I was desperate. I was like, yo, pray, come on, like, what's up? Like, do what you gotta do. And she was like, I knew you was coming. I told you I won't give up on you. And I'm like, look, whatever, bro, look, just pray for me. Just pray for my moms. I come home, she's sitting up looking at Lifetime. And that blew my mind. So around that same time, she introduced me to the ministry she was going to. And I went there, and at first, it was all these young people that looked like thugs, looked like they had been in gangs and, on the street and thugging it out and stuff. And I get in there, and they spitting crazy. They rapping and they singing and they could blow and they playing the violin crazy and they blowing my mind. And I'm just, then this young preacher up there, he all diesel and he preaching fire. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I'm like, yo, this is amazing. but they was falling out and stuff, and I wasn't used to that, so it kind of scared me. I'm sitting there checking if these girls okay, passing out, hitting their heads and stuff. I'm like, yo, bro, this girl passing out. Like, come on now. Like, y'all can't just sit there and keep praising. Y'all gotta help her out. Get her to a hospital. But, I wasn't used to it. So, all these people kept coming up to me. Can I pray for you? Can I pray for you? And I just sat there like a rock. Like, no. Like, nigga, no. Get away from me. So, after that, this one guy came up to me named Visions. He came up to me, and I looked at him like, dude, like, go away. Like, I don't want nothing to do with you. And he put his arm around me. And he started praying. And just like, he knew me without me ever have meeting him or saying a word to him. And after that, he was like, yo, if you ever need anything, I got your back. I promise. So after that, I went home, and a couple of days later, my mother, and I didn't like him. I said, yo, leave me alone, whatever. A couple of days later, my mom was about to put me back in the hospital. I was still cutting really bad, After just dealing with Josiah, I lost my mind. So, I was broken. I was cutting deep, overdosing, crazy stuff. And I called her and said, yo, my mom about to put me back in this crazy hospital, and she gonna put me in there for good. I said, yo, I need you to come get me out of this. He promised to be my mentor. He said he would have my back, He started picking me up on a regular. A couple of weeks later, we were in like this auditorium because our ministry goes from place to place, We don't have a permanent church. So I remember this guy named Spencer was praying. And he was praying. It was crazy. And I just felt myself start to cry. And I'm like, no, Mariah, you're not about to do this in front of these strangers. You don't know these folks. You don't even cry in front of your mama. You ain't about to do this, fool. I'm sitting there trying to hold it in, trying to conceal myself, trying to, stay strong, be a rock. But, soon as I felt it, soon as I looked over, there he was standing there. He was ready to catch me. I was just crying and crying and crying and crying. And I was breaking, and I lost it. And I remember he was holding me so tight. It was like, I can't even explain it, but he was holding me so tight. And I had never felt that before, like that pure love, like someone really cares about me at this moment. Someone cares. And I didn't understand it. I was just holding him tighter and tighter, and I was crying like a baby, getting snot all on this nice shirt. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to wipe my snot off his tie, and I was just crying and crying and crying. And I just felt stuff breaking off of me. I just, and after that, I was like this. I was stuck to him like glue. And I didn't understand, sometimes he wouldn't have time for me, or sometimes he couldn't come over, or sometimes, he wouldn't text me back. I was like, come on, bro. Like, because I'm sitting here looking at this dude like a father. Because he showed up a couple of times, he helped me a couple of times. So I'm like, yo, this is my dad. This is my father. Like, that dude I'm living with, like, that's not what God meant to be as my father. He, maybe he made a mistake this one time. I'm like, this dude Visions, this is my father. This is my blood father. And I'm like, I attached myself to him. And when he started not having enough time for me, I was losing. I'm like, you can't just pretend to be my father 1 second and then just leave. You can't do that. So, cause it just seemed like he was like every other person that ever came in my life, leaving. And I was like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I didn't react good to it. But, now that I'm older, I've realized that he never was supposed to be my father. He was there when I needed him the most, and he got me through what I needed to get through. And sometimes I still get frustrated because I still look at him as my father. He's still my number one supporter. He still got my back and stuff. But we're not as close anymore. And like sometimes I'll yell at him, or I'll send him a nasty text, and I'm like, yo, you promised that you would have my back, and I don't see you right now, and I need you right now. But when it comes down to it, he's there when I need him. So after that, I joined the ministry. I started learning. I was still selling. I stopped cutting though. Actually around then I started straightening up, because he promised if I straightened up, he would get me in the studio and stuff. And started going with forerunners and stuff. And So then my mother was still getting sick. But now, a couple of weeks ago, she went to my uncle's church. And I've been praying all this time for her. Always praying for my family. And this, what do you call them? The people God speaks to them. This prophet came to my uncle's church, and he spoke to my mother. He was like, your second oldest daughter. He was like, she's been praying for you. She's been praying for you all this time and praying for your family. Even when you make her mad, she's praying for you. She's always praying for the family to be closer. Always praying for you to get better. Always praying for better circumstances. Always keeping faith. Always praying. And she's been wondering if he hears her, because she's still praying, but she's still hurting. And, she's still shutting everybody out, but she wants to love. She wants everybody to love her. She needs something, and she's been praying, but she don't know that he hears her, and he hears her. Know that he hears her. My mother had been blind for about 4 years. The next morning, I woke up, and I hear my mother screaming in her bathroom, shouting it. I'm like, my mom is in there crying, like, what's going on? And then it hit me. I'm like, yo, I know what's going on. So I walk in there. She's like, I can see. I said, I know you can see. And we screaming and we're jumping up and down together. I'm losing my mind and she losing her mind. And I'm like, you been healed, Mom. Man, let's go outside. Let's go look at these green trees. Let's shoot. We got outside. She looking at the porch. She said, I've never seen my porch before. I started screaming again. So I've never seen my mailbox. We got a sticker on our mailbox. Hallelujah. I'm like, yes, God. God is good. And I needed that. I needed a renewal in my faith after everything I had been through these last couple of years. And I'm like, yes, it's getting better. I woke up motivated. I've been struggling in school. I started thinking I'm dyslexic. I'm reading and writing backwards. Can't do simple addition and subtraction. They trying to put me in slow classes. And I'm like, no. I know I'm intelligent and I can't graduate with no special diploma and all that. So I'm like, Job Corps. That's the way to do it. Job Corps. I can cook. I'm going to go there for culinary arts. That's my passion. We're going to do this thing. I've been with this boy. We got together as when he was a freshman. I was a sophomore. We got together and we broke up because I moved. And then we got back together. And we've been together for about 7 months almost. And it's been going great. I know I be stressing him out with my craziness, and my, depression and stuff. I know it stresses him out sometimes, but at the end of the day, we love each other. And we've been thriving, seriously thriving until this school thing came up, because I need to get away from my house, because I suffer mental abuse from my father and my brothers and sisters. The names they call me and the stuff, the accusations I go through constantly and daily at this house is unbearable. I need to get away from it. It's not healthy for me to be here. It's not healthy with the depression and stuff. So I was like, I gotta go, babe. I'm sorry, I gotta go. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand why I'm going out of town. Out of state, when there's one right down here. But I gotta be on one with campus. I gotta leave. So he doesn't understand a lot of situations though. Like, he tries to be understanding, but this year, I was in school. I don't bother anybody. I joined Forerunner, so I was always in my Bible and stuff. I was reading my Bible one day in class, in study block. Studying up, because I was doing Bible study with my baby sister. I was teaching her everything I was learning. So I would do it, and I was studying up for some notes, and I fell asleep doing it in study block. This girl, these ratchet, these ghetto kids that's always in the corner, loud, when everybody quiet, they started throwing quarters at my head, and I had a big, big afro. And they was, I realized they were throwing the quarters to see whose could get stuck in my hair. So I heard one bounce off of it and hit the floor. Then I heard another one hit the floor. And then when I sat up, I heard a bunch of coins hit the floor, and I realized they were in my hair. And I started seeing red, and I started losing my temper, and I started shaking and stuff. So I left. I came back the next day with boots on, with steel-toe boots on, bandana, Vaseline. I was ready. Christian, not Christian, I ain't about to be punked for nobody. So I was ready. And the girl came up to me, and I started seeing red. And after everything I'd been through, I was thinking, I'm going to kill this girl. I'm going to kill her. I was like, God will forgive me. She deserves it. I'm going to kill this girl today. And I I started thinking about hitting her head on the concrete walls and, on the center blocks. And I just started, it started getting vivid and getting real. And she stepped to me. She came up to me and she was like, yo, so you came to fight me or whatever? And I'm like, looks that way. She was cussing and getting all ghetto and all that, all that they be doing, all that ratchet stuff. So she doing all that. I'm like, look, I'm just sitting there calm, not saying nothing. I'm like, yo, if you got a problem, like, you could do something. Like, I told you I don't hit first. So I'm like, yo, if you got beef, like, come on, what's up? I'm like, what's up? So I don't like being punked. So my anger can get the best of me sometimes, especially when I'm going through. I'm sitting there shaking, trembling, trying to control myself. My heart beating fast, like you can almost see it through my shirt. I'm shaking so bad that my whole row is trembling. My whole row ahead of me, all my desk ahead of me is trembling. And this girl, she like, hey yo, she's shaking in her boots, bro. She's shaking in her boots. I got this girl terrified. And I stood up, I was like, yo, I'm not scared of you. I said, I hope you saved, because God is the only reason I'm not whooping your black A word right now. And I just walked out. I was like, you know what, whatever, man. F this, man. Because I ain't about to kill nobody. Because when it came to my mind, I was like, if I fight this girl, I'm not going to be fighting her because she threw quarters at me and cussed me out. I'm going to be fighting her because I've been heartbroken 10 times in the last couple of years. My mom's sick and, all this I'm going through. I'm not going to be fighting her for some quarters. I'm going to be fighting her for everything I've been through that I've been building up. I said, and this girl is going to lose her life to this. Also, I'm going to leave. And of course, I was labeled as a punk and a punk. I was scared and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I know what I did was right. But like, he doesn't understand situations like that. He'd be like, look, just, it don't matter. It's cool. Just let it go. It's fine. Because he's just a mellow kind of dude. And he's like, look, it don't matter or whatever. So I was like, no, that's serious stuff to me. I hate that. So we've been fighting terrible. We've been fighting, but I decided that God does not make mistakes. And that's what I've realized since I've been alive. God does not make mistakes. And I know this dude loves me. And I know I said that about every other person I've ever been with. But every other person I've ever been with did not love me back. I don't think any of them did. But he showed up for everything I've needed him to show up for. He's always been there for me every time I've needed him. Even with the distance of him being in Norfolk and me being in Virginia Beach, he still comes and sees me on the weekends with no car, and he's struggling too, and we get through it together. But this, me going to DC thing has, put a little stress on our relationship. So we broke up, or I broke up with him. But I told him, I said, I'm not going to, act like I'm single. I said, because I'm not. I said, our relationship is temporarily out of order. I said, but we're going to get it right because God don't make mistakes. I said, I'm just leaving enough distance so God can get in where he fit in. And, I said, we're going to be straight. Because he keeps checking on me. He knows I suffer from depression and suicidal ideation. So he keeps, are you okay, Mariah? Babe, are you okay? Look, are you okay? I'm just going to check on you. I'm like, look, I'm good. I just want to leave God his space. I want him to do what he got to do. Because I'm done fighting. I've been fighting too long. I ain't strong enough no more. But, it's a couple of people I gotta thank, because for real, I would not be here. I would not. In the last year, I can think of about 5 overdoses that I've done and woke up. So, that ain't nothing but God, nothing. I've been cutting and I've been stealing and I'm still here and I'm not locked up. I'm not dead. I'm not, nothing, I'm straight. I'm good. God is watching out for me, with close eyes, and forerunners, they keep continuously saving my life. I remember times where every day of the week I was suicidal. Every day of the week I'm like, yo, I can't do this. And every day of the week at 3 a.m, I got someone up and they talking me through it. And they got my back and they talking me through it. And they talking me through it. And they all tired and frustrated because it's like 5 a.m, but they still being sweet. I'm like, yo, just leave me alone. I'm just going to do it. And they talking me down. I got to thank Shanice. She gave me the Bible that changed my life. She changed my life. She completely changed it. I can't even explain it. I gotta thank Pastor Mo. I gotta thank all y'all. I gotta JC and Bree, y'all be inspired. Y'all be inspiring me in my music. Y'all really do. Like, I aspire to be like y'all. And Visions, I gotta thank you most of all. You really have helped me through everything that I've ever been through, and I've done absolutely nothing to show you the respect or the love that you deserve for everything that you've helped me out with. I just gotta thank all y'all for having my back through everything I've been through. And I gotta say to anybody out there who is stressed out, who is crying, who is losing their mind right now because of the circumstances, y'all gotta realize that stuff gets better. Y'all gotta realize stuff gets better. I mean, my mother was literally living in darkness for 4 years, and now she can see my face again. That's proof enough. That's proof enough. I don't need nothing else. Don't shoot. I don't need nothing else. I know how good God is just in that. I know how good He is every time I sing a song, every time I stand up and walk, because I should not be walking. Every time I'm standing up straight, I gotta thank God, because I got scoliosis, and I could afford the surgery because I was born in the U.S. I could have been born in some, crazy country where, they struggling and they got all these diseases, that mom could have killed me in another country if it got bad enough and I couldn't treat it. I gotta thank God for every moment, every second of my life that I'm alive. I gotta thank Him, and I gotta sing His praise, because I'm just so grateful to be alive. After all I've been through, I remember times where I absolutely hated God because it seemed like He made Himself visible for who He wanted to. But I realized that all that time He was listening to me and He was hearing me. And that night the prophet said that all this time God had a plan for me. He had a path. And it was funny because the night before I wrote on Facebook, I wish God could, mark the good path with Cheerios and the bad path with broken glass and make it a lot easier. Then the prophet says, God already laid out a path for you. You just got to follow it like the yellow brick road. I'm like, yo, so that's all I need to hear, yo. I'm there. I'm following it. Shoot, just point it out. Shoot, I'm not going to go off track. I'm not going to lose focus and nothing. I'm there. Like, y'all don't understand the stuff I've been through. And that's for everybody who has ever judged me, bullied me, pulled my hair, joked my clothes, said I look homeless. Everything y'all said made me stronger at the end. Because y'all don't know what I've been through. Y'all don't know the stuff I've seen, the people I've lost, and how many times I've been broken to pieces. My brother's on a daily basis making fat jokes, bald-headed jokes, black jokes, monkey jokes. Eat everything in the house, big as a train, big as a whale, black as tar. Always got something negative to say. My dad, you a thief, you a liar. I'm not sending my money out the house with you. Why are you here? You need to just move out if you can't respect nobody. You need to take a bath. Just constant hate going on around here. And I keep my faith. And I know that everybody's situation ain't the same, but look, it gets better. I'm sitting here trying to mentor this baby girl, telling her to get better, and I've been losing my faith and not knowing what to say to her. But look, baby, it gets better. That's it. That's all that matters. It gets better. When you at your lowest point, what else can happen to you? You can't go nowhere but up. Nothing else can happen. That's it. God really only gives you what you can handle. Because this girl I'm mentoring, she is going through abuse, crazy stuff, right? And I couldn't handle it, but she handles it. God gives us what we can handle. And I realized that I need people. I got to stop pushing y'all away. Y'all reach out to me constantly, and I'm like, yo, dude, I got it. Get away from me. I got it. But, yo, I'm here. Look, shoot. I'm done pushing y'all away. I need everybody. And I love my baby Tamani. I love him. And we're going to be strong. We're going to be good. And I'm not just being desperate. I just know what I got. And I know what we got. So I'm straight at the end of the day. And I know this video was crazy long, but it was just time to share my testimony. It was time for y'all to hear who I am, because I've been sitting in silence for too long. And I got too good a story not to tell it. So, go to sleep. Have a blessed night. I gotta thank all y'all.